Hello everyone and welcome back to Create Above and Beyond. In today's episode, we're going to knock out our zinc machine factory. In the last episode, we got lava fully automated, so now the only two steps that are left is to get weeping vines and twisting vines automated, turn that into liquid soul, and then create our infernal mechanism. So to do that, we're going to start off with a quick trip to the nether. So right out of our nether portal, we're lucky enough to have one of these warp biomes, which we should be able to grab some twisting vines, which we can then grow. So these actually grow from the bottom up to the top. So wherever we plant these, we're going to need the blocks below it and then have plenty of space above for our warped twisting vines to grow all the way up. And then not too far away from here, we have our crimson biome, where we can grab some of these vines, which are the weeping vines. And now these grow from the top down to the bottom, so we're going to have to make sure whenever we plant these, we have the blocks grown above and space for them to grow down below. I got just over a stack of each vine and a whole bunch of netherrack to actually grow it on, so now we just need a place to actually start growing this and a place to build our zinc machine factory. And I think a good place as any is going to be right here to the left of our lava generator. And with a rough location and area blocked out, it's time to clear some more land. Alright, so I got a whole area dug out and prepared for our zinc machine factory, and I decided to go right next to our lava generator, kind of cutting into this wall, and I think it's going to look super nice when it's complete. So inside here, I went ahead and dug a little path that goes right to our lava generator. So to get to this room, it's going to be right through this little path, and then we can come in here, do maintenance, throw more phyto grow in here, whatever we need to do. And then over here is going to be where we actually have our factory. So this big circle in the middle here, that's going to be where we're actually farming our twisting vines and weeping vines. And then around here, maybe either back there or out front here is where we're going to actually be doing our production of our soul stand and zinc machines. So first thing first, we have to actually make our twisting and weeping vine little farm here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a machine on a bearing with a bunch of harvesters going in a big line all the way to the edge here. And then we'll put a portable storage interface on the end, so that way we can actually suck stuff out. I think we'll have it rotating at, I think probably ground level here, because I want to go down a few blocks for our twisting vines, then have our crimson vines coming up a few blocks, the same from the ceiling. So I think we'll go down 2 blocks for our twisting vines down here, then up 2 blocks for our weeping vines. And I think that'll look pretty cool once we have all the vines placed in, all the netherrack. We can decorate the walls with some of the warp wood and some of the crimson wood, and I think it'll end up looking really quite nice. Alright, and with that we have just about half of the twisting and weeping vines we need to fill up the space here. So I think our next step is going to be to actually get our farming machine in here, so that way we can start collecting twisting and weeping vines as we work on the rest of the machinery for our zinc machine factory. Here is our little twisting and weeping vine farm. So this is relatively similar to our design for our crop farm, except instead of going back and forth on a minecart, we're just going in a spinning section with a mechanical bearing. So I've got our line of harvesters and a chest for all the items to go into. So you can see as it goes past, it collects all the items, goes into that chest. Then up above, I'm just running it off of a windmill bearing and some windmills. And then over here, we've got a portable storage interface, which interfaces with this for now, going into this chest. Eventually, we're going to want to pull out a bit faster, so we'll hook up a belt to this going to whatever the next stage of our assembly is. So you can see when it comes over here, it will hit the interface. And then we will see this start to fill up. One thing you'll notice is I went ahead and did 2 rows of harvesters when I probably could have got away with 1. But the reason I did the 2 rows was for 2 reasons. One, I think it looks a lot nicer without having like a full grown area of vines. And the second is, let's just say we have the one row. If these are here, and then we have our crimson vines here, they basically have to kind of fight for whoever gets this middle spot. So if this grows, then our crimson vine won't be able to grow there. So by having our two rows, we're basically just making our farm a lot more efficient with not all that much more work. So that way the vines will always be growing, they'll always have a spot to grow to. So I'm going to take all these vines that we've got from our harvester, fill in the rest of the space, and then start working on the rest of our zinc production line. And easy as that, we've completed all of the machines we need to make infernal mechanisms. So starting over here at our weeping and twisting vine farm, our little farming machine actuates out and interfaces with this portable storage interface, which then feeds out with these belts into these two sets of drawers. Each set of drawers has a spot for twisting and weeping vines, which then gets split up onto these two belts via brass funnels with little filters on it, one for weeping and one for twisting vines. And then those get fed into a basin with a mixer above it. Below that mixer, we're heating it up with a blaze burner, which is being fed from a mechanical arm and some coal. To actually feed this, I just have a oak drawer with a funnel behind it and then a depot for that coal to land. So that way the arm has somewhere to take it out of and place it into our burners. And that's how we get our liquid souls. Then we're pumping our liquid souls all the way on over to our first spout. And then our last three spouts are fed with lava from our big lava pit. So you just have one pipe coming all the way down along here. That just drops down into our lava pit with a hose pulley. And this actually seems to be the bottleneck right now. So the liquid soul seems to be keeping up just fine. We only need 500 millibuckets, which is half a bucket of liquid soul. And each time we do a mix, that gets us a whole bucket. But we do need 3,000 millibuckets of lava, which equates to 3 buckets, and these pumps here just don't seem to be cutting it. Right now I'm powering everything off just a few water wheels, so let's go ahead and put a whole bunch more on here and then see if we can't speed this up just a bit. Alright, so I added a whole bunch of extra water wheels here, and let's see how fast we can go now. So we can go up to 97, 113. We go all the way up. Oh, not quite. Just shy of full speed, but let's see if that's at least a bit faster and if it's able to at least relatively keep up with our lava. And yeah, that really is keeping up quite a bit better. It's still not instant, but at least for our infernal machine production, I think that'll be more than fast enough, because realistically, we're not going to use a crazy amount of these. So I think we'll leave it for now until we eventually have a big power factory where we can pull essentially infinite power from that to actually power this base. So now let's hop into a quick time-lapse section so we can actually make our build and finish our zinc machine factory. Here it is, our completed zinc machine factory. I really like how this thing turned out. We also even went back in and did a little bit more work on our big lava tank. I took these lines coming from the dome and extending them all the way down, and then pulled the window a bit further back into the mountain here. And I think it looks really nice. It kind of just expands our space here. And pulling these down all the way to the bottom just kind of make the design a little bit more cohesive. So the zinc machine factory is kind of our first big build that I think is really going to show what this mega base is trying to do and what it'll look like at the end. I really like how we have this big open glass wall, and I also really like how it just kind of works into the terrain. We're not trying to fight the terrain here with this space. We're trying to really work into it and work alongside the mountains and really meld with the natural terrain, because the natural terrain is so beautiful and we want to kind of keep as much as that as possible. So then coming on inside here, right now we just have a little hole in the wall. Eventually, in between episodes at some point, I definitely will come through and fix all of our hallways and get everything connected up a little bit nicer. Now, I didn't spend too much time actually decorating the inside of our base. I've got a few walls and holograms by our like big machines. And then obviously on the inside, we got to keep our little blue lines coming throughout everything, which I think ends up looking really nice for our little farm here. And then we have our zinc machine production line here. We got some of these like laboratory blocks and some more holograms, and I think it all ties the area together a little bit nicely. Now, I think decoration is still one thing that I definitely need to work on improving as I work through this process. Building in this style is the first time I've actually built like this to a large scale. So figuring out what decorations work and what decorations don't is definitely going to be a learning process, and hopefully we can see it get better and better as we go throughout the rest of the series. So with all of that automated, let's run through here. We have our twisted vines automated. We have our weeping vines automated. We have our liquid soul automated. And finally, we have our infernal mechanisms automated. And then our last step is to go craft a zinc machine. So our recipe for zinc machines is 9 infernal mechanisms and a zinc casing. Zinc casing is just a stone and a zinc sheet, and you get 2 of those, so none of that is too difficult to make. Looks like we are a little bit low on zinc, but we should have enough to get at least a few machines started up here. So I went ahead and pressed all of the zinc we had into sheets, which gets us more than enough zinc casings. And the last step is just to take all of our infernal mechanisms, and we will fill this in. Gets us 32 zinc machines plus another 8 with that last stack. Gets us 40 zinc machines to do whatever we want with. Can we just take a second to really appreciate the design of those zinc machines? I want to use this as a building block. This looks honestly really, really quite nice. Even if they weren't quite so expensive, I could use them as a building block. So let's go ahead and complete Chapter 2A, finishing off all of Chapter 2, meaning we can start jumping into Chapter 3. But before we jump into Chapter 3, there's 2 things in Chapter 2A I still want to check out, being the Mega Torch and the reinforced integral components. So our Mega Torch is just made with a torch and a zinc machine, and what this does is basically preventing spawning of natural hostile mobs in a big radius. And then with redstone, we can make these integral components. Actually, go ahead and craft quite a few of these right off the bat, because I think these will come in very handy. So by placing our Mega Torch, basically what it's going to do is it's going to basically serve the same purpose as our Pharaoh Flare Lanterns, where it makes it so that no mobs are going to spawn in a large space. However, it won't place lights like the Pharaoh Flare Lantern does. So what that means is we can just pop it right here, and no mobs will spawn anywhere around here, but it also won't place a million lights everywhere, so that way we can actually do our own lighting if we want to, or even have mob farms in our factory without having the Pharaoh Flare Lanterns lighting up those mob farms. So Mega Torches are definitely going to be a big use for this game, and you'll definitely see them crop up a lot as we work on expanding our base. So for this last step, I'm actually up here in my little tree lava farm, and I'm going to take this integral component, and I believe we can pop it in the augment. Yep, take a look at that. So it says scale factor times 3. So I believe what that means is that this farm is now 3 times more efficient, meaning it's going to produce 3 times more lava. And check that out, 75 millibuckets. Before, it was only producing 25, and then it was 50 with our Phytogrow, and now it's up to 75 with our reinforced integral component. And now let's check out, if we have Phytogrow and a reinforced integral component, what we actually get out of our farm. So check that out. We got 150 millibuckets of lava, meaning that this not just 3 times as base and then adds 2 times from this, it doubles it and then triples it, getting us an insane amount of lava. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a ton more of these integral components, fill up every one of our little arboreal extractors, and then craft a bunch more Phytogrow, fill this in, and we will have all the lava we need, hopefully pretty soon here. And having a lot of lava is actually going to be pretty important, because with our zinc machine factory, we actually already managed to drain, I think we had maybe 5 levels of lava is now completely drained and used up making our zinc machines. So in the last episode, we were working on finishing up our Create Buddy card set, and we were a single card short. So what I went ahead and did is I cleared out all of the extra buddy cards we had. So essentially I went through all of our packs, and whatever we had an excess amount of, I took those extras and just dumped them into our crushing wheels here. I also just went through all of the ones in our Create Buddy card set that we had extras of. We'll crush those up. Because when making our buddy cards last episode, shredded buddy cards was definitely what we were short on. So craft up a whole bunch of those, get some more plates, get some more nuggets from our buddy steel ingots, and then craft up as many buddy card packs as we can to hopefully fill in our final create set buddy card. Alright, so here's what we got. We got 2 stacks and 13. I think that's a few more than in the last episode, so hopefully this is everything. If it's not, I'm really not sure what I want to do. I don't think I want to keep on dragging out this segment because we really just want to get our create set finished up. So let's see. Hopefully we got shiny card number 13. Oh, we got it. We got it. Oh, finally. So our create set shiny and not shiny is now fully complete. And we can check that off our list and move on to the next set in the next episode. So with that done, now we can go ahead and check off Zinc Machine Factory and move on to the next episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I had a lot of fun making our Zinc Machine Factory and finally getting back to going through our quest book and completing the next chapters. In the next few episodes, there's a few things I want to focus on, mainly a mining outpost and an ore processing plant, because really our big bottleneck right now is just having all of the natural resources we need to actually build all these big structures and keep progressing in the book. So we're going to get our ore processing up, and then we'll get back to working through all of our machines up to get to the moon. If you guys are excited to see how the Mega Base progresses, or just excited to see me get to the moon, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.